Retro.
Hi, this is Emily Swallow, the Armorer in The Mandalorian. You're listening to Dennis and Jay on Podcast Stardust. This is the way.
Welcome to Podcast Stardust. This is the fully armed and operational podcast dedicated to Star Wars news, reviews, and discussion. I'm Dennis Keithling.
Hello there. I'm Jay Krebs.
And this episode is going to feature part 2 of our Revenge of the Sith trivia as we continue to celebrate this movie for its 20th anniversary. But before we get into questions, Jay, what are our social media contacts?
Absolutely. We are on Facebook and Instagram conveniently at Podcast Stardust.
Okay, the digital line, the signal's boosted to maximum output, the shield is down, and we are now broadcasting to the galaxy. So in case you missed our last episode where I was explaining what we were doing, we've been doing news on Monday, but there just wasn't a lot of it at the time we recorded this, so we called an audible and we're shifting over some trivia. The plan right now is to get into more Star Wars news on Friday, assuming that there is enough of it to discuss. And if there's not, we'll figure something else out. But this week's trivia features the portion of the movie that runs from 11 minutes and 22 seconds to 23 minutes and 37 seconds, which was the February edition of our Revenge of the Sith rewatch and discussion. So yeah, if you want to know what we're talking about, there you go. Jay, I've got 32 questions for you. So
Woohoo.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, here we go. Question number 1. How many super battle droids arrive with Count Dooku on the observation platform where Chancellor Palpatine is being held?
Well, I think he's flanked by 2, right? 1 on each side?
That is correct. 2.
Yes. 1 for
All right.
1.
Okay.
Off to a great start.
Question number 2. What does Obi-Wan Kenobi tell Anakin before their fight with Dooku? Or what is what's their strategy?
Oh, this time we'll take him together.
This time we'll do it together. That's right.
Do it together. Yes.
Yep.
I was about to say that.
2 for 2. So,
and can I say, I just love how Dooku just like, flutters down after doing that lovely little flip. It's lovely.
Well, you're going to love this next question then. How does Count Dooku get to the platform floor?
Oh, he somersaults by the Force onto the floor.
Yeah.
It's like I read your mind or something.
Yeah, I was like
crazy.
Looking for cameras here. They just did that in Andor. So.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So not only did you get that one right, you should get a bonus point for anticipating it. But okay. Question number 4. What does Obi-Wan say is Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi's speciality?
Oh, Sith Lords are a speciality.
That's right. And he says that because Palpatine said, good help, you're no match for him. He's a Sith Lord.
You're no match for him. He's a Sith Lord. Ironically, I had a little meme poster in my classroom for teaching foods class, and it was Obi-Wan leaning over a grill, and it said, and it had an action figure of Dooku on it. It says Sith Lords are our specialty.
Oh, so, nice.
Yes, there you go.
All right. Complete this line. Good. Twice the pride. Blank.
Double the full.
Yeah. I had a feeling you get that one there. So
there's another meme that says 2 times the lions, twice the autumn. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, oh, I like it. Okay. All right.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I couldn't resist.
Number 6. Who destroys Count Dooku's super battle droids on the observation platform?
Obi-Wan.
Yep. I mean, if you didn't know the answer to this, you pretty much had a 50-50 shot at getting it.
True.
All right. Number 7. See, something I'm noticing here, it's like this part of the movie is just so memorable because
It is.
yeah, it's very distinct and they're not getting into a lot of nitty gritty details and things like that. So it was hard to come up with challenging questions. But we'll see. Number
You did
7.
great.
How does Count Dooku knock Obi-Wan out of the fight on the observation platform?
Well, first he grabs him and then he throws him and then he like uses the force to pull that thing down on him and push it, which always freaks me out. But he
Mm-hmm.
like donkey kicks Anakin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that
Can you
right?
be
Is
a
that what you were
bit
looking
more
for?
specific on the beginning?
Uh he chokes him, right? Grabs him by the neck.
He does not grab him by the neck. He force
He
chokes him.
grabs Force chokes him. Okay, well, technically he grabs him by the
Yeah,
neck.
I'm going to give you that one because you got the rest of the details right. But that's what I was
Okay,
looking for. Is he force
thanks,
chokes him?
Dennis. All
Yeah.
right.
Okay. What does Dooku sense in Anakin?
I sense great fear in you.
Correct. I sense great fear in you, Skywalker.
Skywalker.
How how does Anakin disarm Count Dooku?
Ha 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 ha. Well, he fights him and then he takes the lovely lightsaber and cuts off both of his hands at the wrist
That's right.
and catches Dooku's lightsaber in his other
I've been doing
hand.
a lot of crossword puzzles lately. This would be a good crossword puzzle clue because of the pun there, the disarming.
This
So
is true. This
yeah.
is true.
All right. Well, you're still perfect on here. You got 9 out of 9.
Yes. It's the first time
Question.
ever, I think.
Yeah, you're going to get question 10 too. How does Anakin kill Count Dooku?
He beheads him, and it always, I hate to say that it cracks me up, but it always cracks me up when he says, I shouldn't have done that. He was an unarmed prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he really
Yeah,
was. Literally.
we're not the only ones that can make jokes. So, all right. What out of place sound effect can be heard when Palpatine talks to Anakin about revenge after Anakin dispatches Count Dooku?
um, the Tusken Raiders.
That's
And
right.
then, yeah, and Qui-Gon saying, no, Anakin, no.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Tusken Raider yells. That's specifically what I was looking for there. All right,
Awesome.
question because that's more of a sound effect than a line, which is what Qui-Gon
True.
was doing there. But I would have given you
True.
points for that too. Question number 12. What is Palpatine's response to Anakin's attempt to save Obi-Wan?
He says, leave him. There's no time.
Yeah, there's no time. Leave him or we'll never make it. And then, well, this is not one of the questions, but what is Anakin's response to that?
His fate will be the same as ours.
Yeah, you really do have this
Which
memorized.
I
Okay.
love that. Yeah, I love how he looks up at Palpatine too and is just like, ain't happening. This is my
Mm-hmm.
master. He's coming with us.
Question 13. What famous sound effect can be heard while the droids and clones are firing upon each other as the Invisible Hand counterattacks an attack from a Republic cruiser?
The Wilhelm scream.
That's right.
Yes.
That would
Look
have
at
been,
me go.
yeah, yeah. Do you know where that came from?
What it was an old Western, correct? I don't know the
Yeah,
year
if you
of
get the
it,
name, you get a bonus point.
but it was the How the West Was Won. I don't know.
No, it's called Distant Drums.
Okay.
And do you know of any idea what year that came out in?
1948.
Close, 1951. So
Oh, good.
you
Okay.
weren't too
I was
far
I
off.
was darn close. All right.
All right. Here's maybe a trickier one. What is the number of the elevator Anakin and Palpatine need activated by R2D2?
I can hear Anakin's voice. R2, activate elevator. Is it 7114?
You got one of those digits correct,
Oh shoot.
but there is a double number in the middle. So
Well, I remember Obi-Wan saying elevator 31174, but that's not it.
no,
Shoot, I don't know this one.
3224.
3224. Okay.
So
Darn, I just broke my streak.
yeah, well, there's gonna be some tough ones here.
Wah,
So
wah, wah.
you know how I do this.
I love the challenge.
All right. Question 15. What does R2D2 land in when he falls down the hangar bay as the invisible hand begins to fall out of the sky?
Oh, he lands in a pile of like busted up battle droids and ship parts.
Yeah, a pile of droid debris. Okay. Question 16. What three things do the Captain and the Invisible Hand and Grievous do to level out the Invisible Hand after it begins to plummet towards Coruscant?
What, 3 things?
What 3 orders do they give?
Okay. Engage stabilizers,
Reverse
engaging
stabilizers,
stabilizers,
but close
reverse
enough.
stabilizers,
Yeah.
magnetize,
Very good.
and something with the gravity, reverse gravity
No,
thrusters. Is that
they
it?
reverse the stabilizers, they've
Reverse.
magnetized, and there's one other thing they do. It's not reversing anything else.
It has something to do with gravity, doesn't it?
No.
Ugh. Wait, hang on. I'm blanking.
Fire
up.
the emergency booster engines.
Fire the emergency booster engines. Darn it. Now I can hear it.
Mm-hmm. Get
Shoot.
2/3 of a point for that one.
0.66. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, engage order 66. I like it.
Question 17. What device do Anakin and Obi-Wan use to escape from the elevator shaft after the elevator comes barreling after them?
Oh, they're little like cable things. It's like the
Yeah,
hook
can you
cables, and then they lasso them and hook them, and then they hang on to them, and then they zoop through another like doorway kind of thing, or elevator entryway.
you got the point, but can you remember what these things are actually called? It's not a Star Wars name.
Like
It's an
tow cables?
grappling hook.
Grappling hooks. Okay.
It was fun listening to describe them though. Okay.
And then you get the thing, and then you have this other thing, and then you do the thing with that thing.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right, question 18. What is the number of the hallway where the Jedi are found?
They're in hallway. Is it 316?
No.
Hallway.
One more guess.
They're in hallway.
You
I
got the
can hear
first
the
digit
battle
right.
droid. 327?
328. Very
Oh
close.
shoot! I was so close.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Question number 19. What does General Grievous use to trap the Jedi and Chancellor Palpatine?
Ray shields.
Yeah, I already marked the point down for that one. I knew you'd get it. So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate your vote of confidence.
okay. Question number 20. What is Anakin's one-word suggestion for dealing with the ray shields?
Patience.
Very good. And why does he counsel patience?
R2 will be along shortly.
Exactly. R2 will come get them.
Yes.
All right. 21. What does R2 do to the super battle droid when it arrives in the hall?
Oh, he shocks him.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Stupid little astro droid.
Mm-hmm. I love that scene because
I know.
R2 just like,
so good.
Just obstinately shocks the battle droid. The droid the super battle just kicks him right over. Like,
Well, what cracks me up is that he was like, ouch. Like the battle
Mhm.
droid actually felt pain, but I guess it was just because maybe it shocked his circuits too, you know?
Yeah, but it's like R2 is so impulsive. It was like, I got to do something. I'll shock it.
Yes.
Does nothing. Okay. What does General Grievous call Obi-Wan Kenobi when he's brought to the bridge?
The negotiator.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
What does Grievous say he expected Anakin to be after meeting him for the first time?
Expected you to be a little older.
Right. I've lost
So good.
track here. So that is
1,000.
no, not quite. But, that's question 24. So
Didn't
okay,
get that
there
one
we go.
past you. Darn
All right. Question number 25. What is Anakin's first impression of General Grievous?
it. You're shorter than I expected.
Very good. Yeah, I still, we talked about this when we did our discussion of this segment back in February, but I still love the fact that they managed to preserve these lines by not having these two ever come face to face in a fight over the course of the Clone Wars.
Yes. And that's so brilliant and so well respected. Like you said, just so appreciated.
Yeah, and as important a villain as Grievous was, to that series that they never ran into each other until they got to the Revenge of the Sith is pretty impressive, because that
It
would have been
is.
I'm sure that had to be a temptation for all the creators there to have those two square off at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
okay, question number 26. What insult does Grievous call the Jedi?
Did you call him Poodoo?
No.
Jedi scum?
Jedi scum.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a Sebulba moment there.
It would be funny to see him like in a pod racer going by the window.
Oh my gosh.
All the other ships go flying by. Why not? All
It's
right.
true.
Question 27. How many Magna Guards are on the bridge of the Invisible Hand with Grievous?
Let me see if I can picture this. Is it 4?
2. The answer is 2.
Just 2?
Mm-hmm.
They seemed like there was more. There's more
Okay.
pieces of them after they were all done.
I see what you did there. Okay. How does General Grievous escape from Obi-Wan and Anakin?
Oh, he opens up the airlock and basically sucks himself out into space through that window, and then gets himself to cling to the side with his little claw feet.
Okay.
Is that
How
enough?
exactly does he open the airlock?
Oh, with the Magna Guard staff.
Yeah, he uses it to destroy the window.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. 29. What happens to the Invisible Hand before it enters Coruscant's atmosphere?
It breaks in half.
Correct.
It just occurred to me there's a lot of windows that break in this movie.
This is true.
Later on with Mace Windu, and then,
Mm-hmm. The glass budget was insane for Revenge of the
Yeah,
Sith.
no
So,
doubt.
all right. How many fire ships assist in the crash landing of the Invisible Hand?
There's 4, right?
That's
2
correct.
on the left and the right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What structure does the Invisible Hand take out while skidding to a halt?
Oh, it's like an observation tower,
Yeah, the control tower.
control tower.
Okay. And that was question 31. So here's our final
Woo!
one, and I know you're already going to get it.
Oh my
Question
gosh.
32. What is Obi-Wan's assessment of the crash landing?
Another happy landing as he
Yeah.
puts his hand through his hair and smiles.
So you got, let's see, that is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 28. You got 28 and 2/3 points. So,
Yay. That's got to be
yeah.
my best score yet, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm. So congratulations. You did it.
Thank you. That was a fun one.
Yeah. I always try and write some tricky questions. This one did not lend itself to that as much. So, I threw in there the ones with the counting questions, which I know are typically difficult, trying to remember how many
They
of anything
are.
around.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to be honest. I was ready for you to ask me, like, how many lightsabers did Grievous have inside his cloak before he added Obi-Wan's and Anakin's?
Oh, that would have been a good one. Yeah.
And I think it was two others.
That was
but
my
maybe,
memory, but
yeah,
of course he had 4, as we'll see on Utapau. So
right. So
but
maybe a 2 on each side. Who knows?
it would have
Or
been
he
funny
went
in
down
that
to
scene.
people.
It's like, he took their lightsabers and put it in his cloak, when then, Anakin and Obi-Wan do this, Obi-Wan says, this time you won't escape. And Anakin, now R2. And so R2 goes berserk, and then they get their lightsabers back if they like summon the wrong lightsabers, and then
Mm-hmm.
ended up like having to trade during the fight.
Right.
But probably would have done something to the tone of that entire scene, which is, amongst the many reasons they did
Exactly.
not do so. But
Well, it's also proof that, each Jedi is in tune to their own kyber crystal and their own lightsaber,
mm-hmm, indeed. Okay, well then that'll do it for this round of trivia. Good job, Jay. 28
Fun.
2/3. So
Thank you. Good
that
job
is
writing
an
the
A.
questions as always. That's
Oh,
hard
thank
to
you.
do.
Yeah, well, I do them at the same time I do the notes for our discussion, so it just makes that process a little bit longer. But we get 2 episodes for the price of 1 for the effort, so why not?
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, thank you all for joining us for this episode of Podcast Stardust and this installment of Revenge of the Sith Trivia. We've got more coming up in the not so distant future. I know at least sometime in July at the latest is when the next edition will be. And so make sure you subscribe to the podcast and you'll get that whenever it shows up. And in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you can get all the other great things we're doing, which includes our rewatch of the Clone Wars, our coverage of Tales of the Underworld, the documentary Light and Magic series, and our weekly look at Star Wars news. And when you've done that, we'd appreciate it if you could help us out by rating and reviewing the show. 5 stars are preferable, but not required. But we do like to read 5-star reviews on the show when we get those. And then you can head over to retrozap.com and find a bunch of other great content, including our entire back catalog and shows like Agency of Case Files, Animaniacast, Brews and Blasters, Dork Lair, Dooncast, Enjoy Stuff, Love, Death, and Robots Plus, Superhero Suite, and Warp Trails. So that having been said, Jay, want to remind everybody what our social media contacts are.
My pleasure as always, Dennis. We are very conveniently found on Facebook and Instagram at Podcast Stardust. And we do maintain some Pinterest boards, so you can check out everything Star Wars over there. And then we also have our 2 YouTube outlets, which is the traditional YouTube as well as YouTube Music. So please subscribe and share those out to your friends. And let us know how you did on this episode of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith trivia on any one of those social media outlets. And we also have our TeePublic store where you can pick up one of 7 different show logo designs available on all kinds of things from apparel to home goods and pretty much everything in between. And all of those sales do help to support the show. And we sure do appreciate that. And if you do happen to get something, snap a picture of it and post it so we can see where those products end up out in the wild. So once again, check out that link in our show notes.
All right, Jay, you want to remind everybody what's going on in the world of cosplay?
Sure, absolutely. So you can always catch me on my Instagram, which is at j.snipscosplay. So I've got some brand new content up from an event that I went to just a little bit ago, a little over a week ago. And then not sure when my next event's going to be. So in the meantime, you can catch me as Ahsoka, 2 different versions of Hera, the 4th sister, as well as my original concept Mandalorian, once again on j.snipscosplay.
So, upcoming on the show on Wednesday, we have the next edition of World Between Worlds, where Jay rounds up some recent Star Wars fashion and lifestyle product finds. And then Friday, like I was saying at the top of the show, we are getting into the week's Star Wars news. So, thanks for listening to episode 888 of Podcast Stardust, everyone. Have a great week. And until next time, may the Force be